is Sinchon, Vice President of Communications for TPA, and we cannot tell you just how privileged, how excited, and how honored we are to host you here today because Virgin Atlantic has arrived at TPA. We have an exciting lineup of speakers so eager to tell you about the amazing significance of today's arrival of Virgin Atlantic. And so with that, please help me give a warm welcome to Tampa International Airport CEO, Mr. Joe Lopano.
Thank you, Veronica, and it's a great day at America's favorite airport. Let's hear it for Tampa International, #1 J.D. Power airport in the world. And we are so happy to have everybody here today, from Shai Weiss to Sir Richard to Ed Bastian and our mayor, our board chair, Barry Harrod, sitting here in the front row. And we work as a team. We win as a team here in Tampa. That's the way it's always been for us. And we're so privileged to have two of the best airline brands here with us on the stage today. And Ed Bastian and Sir Richard are very, very focused on customer service and brand equity for many, many years. So we're privileged to have you here. And we also work as a team, and I want to recognize and ask our partners to come up and say a few words. Mr. Santiago Parada from Visit Tampa Bay, and Mr. Steve Hayes from Visit St. Pete Clearwater.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What do you say on a day like today, right? A phenomenal airline, fantastic destination, fastest growing best city in America, right, Mayor? Amen? Your flyers won't be disappointed. They will not be disappointed. The best, hippest city in all of Florida, all of the United States. A compliment to our great friend Steve Hayes, greatest beaches, art scene in all of America. Steve, come on up. It is a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you. So Richard, I get confused for you every once in a while. I wish I were you. I see you on every Delta flight. Steve and I were saying we're like million-mile flyers, so thank you to you as well. Thank you all for being here and celebrating with us this great achievement today.
I can't tell you how excited we are to have you here and flying into this airport. This is long coming. Sir Richard, I have a picture. I have a picture of you and I and someone else from Tampa International Airport back from when you were here to receive the Tony Janice Award. So now to have you here and the airline is here, they're flying in, that's totally fabulous. And on behalf of all of us in the hospitality industry in St. Pete Clearwater industry, we've been welcoming Brits here for years. In fact, someone reminded me that we were one of the first destinations to actually be marketing in the United Kingdom to tell the story of why you should visit. So great that you're here. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for that. So first of all, hello Tampa Bay. We are so we're really excited to touch down here today and start the first daily connections to London Heathrow. I would say that the best Londoners, the best people from the UK actually fly Virgin, so you're in for a treat on that one. And my name is Shai Weiss, I'm the CEO of Virgin Atlantic. I'm thrilled to be here with my boss, Sir Richard Branson, my other boss, Ed Bastian, and of course the mayor and the CEO of the airport. First, let's start with the fact that our thoughts are still with the Tampa Bay community for everything they have endured and are enduring with the hurricanes that have hit hard here. I know Fort Myers and the Gulf Coast are still dealing with the aftermath, and of course, we will support them as much as we can. Now, great support from the teams here in Tampa, the Tampa International Airport, the Visit Tampa Bay, and Visit St. Pete and Clearwater. Thank you for convincing us to come here. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for listening.
And each and every one of these teams has been integral to our decision to fly from London here on a daily basis. And the US is the heartland of Virgin Atlantic in many ways. We always say it wouldn't be Virgin without the Atlantic. So this is just a continuation and an extension of our quest to be the best airline across the Atlantic. Now, Florida is very much the crown jewel in our leisure operations. We fly to Orlando, we fly to Miami, and now we're adding Tampa, and of course we also fly now to Texas and to Austin. So if we look at our move to serve the South and the Southeast, where many people want to live and many people want to do business, this is part of that, that quest. And of course, the beaches here, Tampa, St. Pete, and Clearwater are very good destinations, if you already mentioned, for our leisure passengers as they come to vacate in the United States. And indeed, in the summer of 2023, we'll have 7 daily flights to Florida, of course, 1 daily into Tampa, which brings me to business. So it's not just leisure. This is, of course, one of the fastest metropolitan areas in terms of growth. I think it's actually the 3rd fastest growing in 2021. And the UK has a lot of business here, actually more than 100 businesses in Tampa area are invested by, owned by, and operated by UK originated businesses. So the direction of travel is not just from the UK to Tampa, but also from Tampa to the UK. It wouldn't be fair not to talk about the plane that just arrived here. So our newest route deserves the newest plane. And the plane that we just arrived is literally 30 days old. And it will be dedicated to this route on a daily basis. Sometimes, you know, when you start a leisure or a new route, you tend to put your older planes. First of all, we don't have old planes. Virgin Atlantic. But we're going to take it even further and put the best one. And this one just arrived from Toulouse, Airbus, 30 days ago. It is a phenomenal plane. I'm sure you're going to read a lot of blogs because there were many journalists who are here in the audience who were on that plane. But it has amazing, what we call a retreat suite, which is basically a place where people can convene, up to 4 people for a business meeting or spend some time with family. 27-inch screens, double, and then 6'7" bed, Wi-Fi that actually works, sorry, across the Atlantic, and Bluetooth connectivity and Wi-Fi and wireless charging in the premium and upper cabin. So really tremendous plane. And in terms of the plane, it's not just that fact that it's so fabulous and so good to be on it. It is substantially a better plane for the environment. You know, at Virgin Atlantic, over the past decade, we've reduced our carbon footprint by 36%, despite flying 6% more sectors in 2022 versus 2013. That's 36%. The plane itself is 11% more efficient from a fuel and carbon emissions basis than the plane it replaces, which is the A330. And altogether, that means that when all 16 of these new planes will come in, we will reduce our, what we call the unit of emissions per commercial unit by 18%. And actually, as custodians of an airline and as custodians of an industry where we want to be guilt-free travel, we must have the youngest fleet in the sky, and we're calling on all competitors to do exactly the same thing. Invest their millions and billions to transform their fleets so they can fly anywhere on a guilt-free basis. And then 2022 is a year where we're starting to recover. We have a very simple vision, which is to be the most loved travel company and become sustainably profitable. And we're making very good strides in that direction. Our purpose is clear. Everyone should take on the world. And within that, as Richard has advocated for many years, we want Virgin Atlantic to be a business as a force for good. Now, you're seeing the fabulous crew that we have here. And I say this every time. Our secret sauce is not the planes, it's not the destinations, it's not the partners that we have amazing, all of them. It's our people that set us apart. And I call on everyone in Tampa to book a flight with Virgin Atlantic, come to London. It's extremely cheap these days for you guys. I say if you want to see the real king, half price on Virgin Atlantic. Richard, over to you.
What was the award we gave you today?
The number one employer in the UK. The most loved employer in the UK with just one. All right. All right. You deserve it. On the spot.
So, thanks, Shai. Thanks, everybody. It's wonderfully exciting to be here in Tampa. I think it was about 22 years ago that I was given this award here in Tampa. And I think the headlines were, Branson says they'll soon come to Tampa. Well, 22 years later, we finally got here. So I suppose the most important thing is, do I deserve to wear a Buccaneers t-shirt? I've got a lovely note from your equivalent of royalty today, from Tom, welcoming us here, which was very sweet of him. But more importantly, I am a pirate. Now, I know you didn't know that. But I've got 5 grandkids. We live on an island, and when they were very young, and they're still very young, but when they were even younger, I explained to them that I was dumped as a pirate on Necker Island by these bad pirates when I was when I was a young man, and that I single-handedly built all the houses on Necker and the swimming pools and. Anyway, created Necker. And so they know I'm a pirate, so I am a pirate. They know I'm a pirate to the extent that when I was actually coming out to space last year, one of my granddaughters came up to me and she pulled me down to her and whispered in my ear, "Papa, you must be the first pirate ever to go into space." So anyway, as a pirate, it's great to have taken over Tampa, to have made sure that the only way that people can get to Britain from Tampa and go to the main airport there, Heathrow, is on
Virgin.
If they want to go to a secondary airport, they have to fly on. Yeah, I'm a resident. Anyway, very, 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 very proud to be here today. I'm incredibly proud of what all the team have done. I mean, when you look at Orlando or Miami or now Tampa, Virgin Atlantic and Delta are really leading the way. And that leads me on to saying, in life, your partner is everything. I've been lucky enough to be with the same lady for a long time. But also your partnerships and businesses are really, really, really important. And many years ago, we partnered with Delta. They are our big brother. And they've been a very, very gracious big brother. They've helped us through COVID, which was a tough time for everybody. Just want to say, we've been very, very lucky to have had such great friends at Delta, and we work with Ed. So over to you, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. As you know, we feel the same way, and I don't know why you keep calling me your big brother. You're a pirate. I want to be your big brother, your little brother, so I can be a pirate too. But it's wonderful to be here in Tampa, and it's great to be with all of our people at Delta to provide our support for Virgin Atlantic. And the relationship that we have between Delta and Virgin Atlantic, I think, are probably the 2 closest in the global aviation world. We operate as one. We have a common goal and purpose about doing good and bringing the world together to be a force for good for the world. And it was never more obvious than during the pandemic as to how closely we collaborated on every single step to keep our people safe, and keep our business, protect our jobs, and eventually come back with a vengeance. Because we're not just back, we're back better than we were previously. The demand to travel, because it wasn't available to so many people for so long, is like nothing we've ever seen, and it's not stopping. And I know every financial paper and journal you read about all the dire forecasts for doom and gloom. Well, it's not true here. It's not true in many parts of this country. We're back and we're operating, and our people are doing great, and people are enjoying just being with each other, these experiences. And when you think about the opportunity to go from Tampa direct into Heathrow Airport on London on the most favored airline across the transatlantic into London, which is Virgin Atlantic, what an incredible opportunity. And Shai is right, London is on sale with what the currency is. So I was just over there a few weeks ago, and I had a hard time keeping my partner out of the shops. I mean, she was having a great time. But we're thrilled to be here. We love serving the people of Tampa, Mayor, and the best airport operator in the country, Joe Lopano, good friend for many years. But it's always good to be back here, and it's great to be with all of you today. I'll turn it over to you, Mayor.
All right. What an exciting day for all of Tampa Bay. This is just nothing short of amazing for us to have that daily connection with London, one of those cosmopolitan cities in the world. And I must say the connection here in Tampa with just the slightest tinge of bias in saying that Tampa International is the greatest airport in the world. And Tampa Bay is simply paradise. And it's nice for us to be able to show that off to all of our friends in the UK with that short little hop across the pond. We didn't get to go on the plane today, but I hope to be able to do that one day when it still has that new plane smell. That's nice, and especially all of the amenities that are on it. But it is a very, very exciting time for us and for the airport and the entire Tampa Bay area. I also want to say, as mayor, I appreciate the new jobs that this is generating. I just happened to be over at the Flamingo earlier, and a thank you to you, Sir Richard, from Austin's mom, who happens to be one of the new ticket agents that is employed here at the Tampa International Airport. So we're very happy to see that economic engine growing here in Tampa, and to be able to continue our business relationship with the UK, all of UK. And then the tourism aspect of it is something that has been mentioned. We have the world's most beautiful beaches in St. Pete, Clearwater, and a very eclectic art scene. And then here in Tampa, I like to say, are the pulse of the Tampa Bay area. So it's a very exciting time to welcome tourists over. And I promise, as mayor, to provide free sunscreen to all of those that are visiting our beaches, not only as mayor, but also as mom. And I'm also glad to hear that you are a pirate, and you need to come for our Gasparilla, and we will make sure that you get to hang out with all of the pirates that pillage our city every year, right around the end of January. So you will be able to have maybe not that direct flight from Heathrow, but that direct flight from the island that you built with your own hands. And you can come over and see how Tampa does the pirating in our community. It's very exciting. And our continued relationship with Delta, just family, without a doubt. So we're very excited about this addition and all that it's going to mean to the Tampa Bay area. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that Tom Brady welcomed you as well. We like to call ourselves Tampa Bay since we have a couple Stanley Cups. We've got the Super Bowl, and just about an inch away from that World Series a couple of years ago as well, Raymond. But thank you all for choosing Tampa. We appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. Thank you all. All right, and with that, again, a big thank you, Mayor Castor, Mr. Bastian, Sir Richard Branson, Mr. Bites, Mr. Lobano. Thank you for your wonderful remarks. With that, we are going to take a few minutes to take media questions. So if you may, if you're interested in asking a question to any of our speakers here on stage, please raise your hand And when selected, go ahead and say your name and media organization. We'll be right here helping moderate.
Hi, Sarah Rosario from CBS Tampa Bay. You said you guys are going to be flying to out of 7 different airports in Florida. Will those all be with the new Airbus or energy efficient planes?
Just to correct that, not 7 different airports, 7 times a day. So 4 into Orlando, twice into Miami, and once into Tampa.
And will those all be with those new energy efficient planes?
All our planes are energy efficient. Our average age of the fleet is 7 years. Our competitors is 13 years. But the Tampa one gets this beautiful U-bird. Yes.
Awesome. How much, an estimated cost of how much will this cost our Tampa Bay passengers?
Well, that's a complicated, but we're saying it starts usually at around 450 pounds return in economy, but prices are dynamic. They change every day and every minute. But we are always competitive when it comes to pricing, but the service is superior.
And we've seen with COVID, people are trying to save money in all different places, but when it comes to flying, they're willing to spend the money to travel. So it's really nice to see a luxury airline here, and I think people will be, is that part of, you guys' mission to make this such an enjoyable time for people who are willing to spend money to do this?
Well, as I mentioned, our vision is to be the most loved travel company. We can only be the most loved travel company if our people love to work at Virgin Atlantic, because then the customers actually feel that every single minute that they're on board. And we have passengers on board anywhere from 9 till 14 hours. It's a long experience. If you add the airport experience and the after sales and the loyalty part of it, it really is a meaningful relationship. People indeed, I think over the last few years, decided that experiences trump goods, dishwashers, refrigerators, and I don't blame them. And doing it with Virgin Atlantic and of course our partners Delta is the right way to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Vincent Lawrence here with Runway Girl Network. So Virgin Atlantic has obviously built a leisure route around the Caribbean and Florida, and as they point to battering through COVID, now rebuilding it, very welcome to see. How does this fit into the wider Virgin family with Virgin Voyages and Virgin Holidays? How are you going to build on this new route to bring new sort of tourists into Tampa, and then sort of building into the other routes they can take via sea, by plane, by air, by land?
I'll start and let Shai finish. Talking about being a pirate, the day before yesterday, I was on, which ship was it? Valiant Lady, going to Honduras as a pirate, which was our newest route for Virgin Voyages. And we now are operating, I think, to 100 different routes with our ships. With our third ship, which is coming soon, will be 100 different routes, including Australia, the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, and then the fourth ship will be Scandinavia. And we very much are now tying everything together through something called Virgin Red, which is a company that is our frequent flyer program, and that's something I suspect we should have done years ago at Virgin, because we got all these different Virgin companies, but anyway, it's something which we're doing so that people can benefit if they go on a voyage. They can benefit Virgin Atlantic and so on and so on and so on. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that.
Yeah, and just after that, from our perspective, we call this single red, double red, or triple red. Meaning, if you're just flying, that's great, but if you're flying and taking a holiday with Virgin Atlantic, double red. If you add a hotel and a voyages, even better. And of course, what we found over the years is the more products, Virgin products, an individual purchases, the greater the loyalty is, as it should be. And we are very much in cooperation with many of our partner Virgin companies, which are, of course, owned by Richard and the Virgin Group. But that's very much part of the approach to making sure that we can provide connectivity across the network of companies.
Hi, Trevor Sahaki with WFLA News Channel 8. How long was this in the works for, and what were some of the factors that played into the decision to create this route?
Well, debates about routes is ongoing in an airline. That's really the number one thing. We have Juha Jarvinen here in the front row, who's our Chief Commercial Officer, who really makes these decisions of where we should be flying. But at the heart of it is Virgin Atlantic flies over the time, 60 to 70% of our capacity is the United States. And since we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to forge an unbelievable bond and partnership with Ed and the Delta family, our ability to compete in the US market is increased dramatically. So that's one angle. Of course, we look at the demographics of demand and the fact that this is a strong metropolitan area that has both leisure and business. We're not just a leisure airline, we're a business airline. People, of course, now mix and match between the back and the front, between vacation and work, and on it goes. So, and then we compete the routes. You know, we look at them and see where we can provide the best service for the local demand, for the demand in the United Kingdom. Of course, the US, as I mentioned, is so strong versus the UK that provides an added benefit. And this one came on top. So here we are.
And second quick question, I noticed Rolls-Royce on the side of the engine. I was wondering if anyone could speak to that and why Rolls-Royce was on the side of the engine. I'm unfamiliar.
Well,
thank you for explaining.
Look, and Ed can, of course,
They're a little company in an even smaller country. Anyway, is that what was there a, I'm trying to think, no, sorry, don't worry, I'm trying to think of what your question was.
I think it's already been explained.
Okay. I have to tell them to do their PR better than they're doing it currently.
Graham Dunn with Flight Global. You talked a bit about the strength of demand. Could you talk a fraction more about why you think transatlantic demand will stay strong and how much visibility do you have on that?
Sure, Graham. The level of demand, not just to the UK, but throughout all of Europe, is truly unprecedented. We attribute, obviously, the fact that we've had so many Americans that haven't been able to go for up to 3 years. You know, there's all demographics of society that are traveling internationally. Think about baby boomers, people that have a bucket list of all the places they want to go, who really do feel they lost 3 years to get there, and they're just burning and the desire to get over there. You think about businesses needing to get back to their colleagues and friends, families that need to be reunited, adventures that need to be taken. There's no way you're going to satisfy that demand in a 6 or 9 month time frame. I think this is going to continue for several years. And then you couple that with the currency, where the US dollar is so strong, it's an incredible bargain to fly to Europe. And I've been over to Europe a handful of times this summer. That's all you see are Americans. You know that. It's American tourism are big here in Florida, it's big in the UK, it's big in Italy, it's big out in the mountains. So I think that's going to continue that threshold. Second thing we've seen is that consumers are funding a lot of that travel by stopping spending on stuff. This is what Shai alluded to. And we see the traditional lines of investment in services and experiences coming back to more normal trends. And they still haven't caught up to where they need to be. But the consumer still has a decent amount saved for this post-pandemic period, and they're no longer getting boxes piling up on their doorstep. They're actually leaving their doors to go see somebody else's boxes in some other part of the world.
Very good. We have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions.
Hi, Chris Jasper from Bloomberg News. Another one for Ed, if I may. Talking of Europe, you seemed pretty close to tying up a deal with the new Italian flight carrier, ITA, together with Centaris and Air France. That seems to have collapsed in the past couple of days with the new Italian government pulling the rug from under it and going back to square one. Were you surprised by that? Do you still think there's business to be done there? And what way do you go next with that?
Well, Italy is a great market, as we all know. In fact, it's one of the, second maybe to London, it's one of the most favorite markets that Americans love to go, particularly on summer holiday. Centaris made a decision not to move forward with their proposed investment, and Centaris is leading that, so we follow Centaris' lead.
Very good, and that seems possibly we might have our last question right here, so, all right. Well, let's hear it one more time for our speakers this afternoon. London Heathrow, we're taking a Virgin Atlantic. I can assure you on behalf of the airport team and this community, we're going to be working very hard for your success. So thank you all. Thank you for being here to our British friends. Enjoy Tampa Bay this week. And I want to remind a housekeeping note for those who are joining us on the tour of the new, fancy, fabulous stylish plane. We have the A330neo here at TVA. If you're joining us for that, please meet by the telephone booth. We're going to be taking off on that tour here momentarily, so please all gather here to our left. And TVA escorts will take you over past security to see the plane. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.